Good morning. It is Monday, September 19th, and I'm going to be doing a drive with FSD Beta 10.69.2.2 around Arcadia, California, as I'm on vacation, and I just got the software this morning pushed to my car, and this is a first for me where it got pushed over LTE. So, release notes look the same as they did before with the other 10.69 builds, so I don't anticipate anything other than some bug fixing and some maybe behavioral polishes. But we're going to try some unprotected left turns, some of them truck style across the medians like they have around here. A lot of just city driving. It is kind of rush hour here, so I expect there to be a lot of traffic, so hopefully a good test just to kind of show you behavior wise where things are at with 69.2.2. So without further ado, let's go for a drive and see how it does. All right, good job with that right turn there. We had a car coming from our left. It didn't hesitate 1 ounce. That was great. And I just also want to call out car-wise. I'm out here actually in California for a big reason. I mean, a little bit of vacation, but also I was tracking my car at Buttonwillow. So my car is actually lowered, has a wing on it. I did recalibrate the cameras, so the wing obviously looks stupid on a car just driving around autonomously. There's no functional purpose for it, but it won't interfere with the camera operation or any of the sensors, so I don't anticipate any problems there, but just kind of wanted to call that out. So while the car is fairly smooth at decelerating, especially around city streets, I do wish it would start slowing down a little earlier. It would definitely smoothen it out a bit more. So I know as the team continues to focus on just smooth inputs on the controls, that would be something I think would be an easy fix there. If you know the cars ahead of you are stopped and not moving, then just start slowing down early, because as a human driver, that's what I would do. Okay, maybe a little over hesitation there. Looks like we're trying to make a lane change here. You saw what it was doing there too. It acted like it wanted to go around, but there was no signal. That was definitely not something I would have done as a human driver, so I definitely reported that. There should always be a signal before a lane change, even if we're passing a car. So that behavior has kind of been there from the beginning, so nothing new there, but definitely something that still needs to be corrected. All right, and up ahead here, we'll be taking a left turn onto Santa Anita Avenue here. A little close to that curb for my liking, but I didn't disengage. So I believe this is just a left turn on, it looks like we're gonna have an arrow. So I was hoping it was gonna be an unprotected left turn here. We already have to yield, but we'll find another one around here that's like that. That definitely wasn't honking at me. Somebody was definitely not going fast enough for somebody. Good job with that left turn there. Pretty straightforward, about as easy as it gets when you have a green arrow like that. So on this stretch of road here, we have a lot of unprotected space on our right here for parking, and the car is doing a really good job actually of staying closer to the left line and giving that space and not using that space. I don't have a comparison, except for Minnesota. We have similar roads by my house quite a bit where the car in the past would stray a little bit too much to the right. It's been pretty good in the 69 builds, and you can see here it's doing the correct behavior still in the 69.2.2, so also really good to see. A little bit of confusion with lane selection there. You saw on the screen there, it was a little hesitant on which lane it wants to go into. I've noticed overall in the 69 builds, the car obviously is the best that I've seen it be when it comes to lane selection, as we had a lot of lane selection issues around my test loops around Minneapolis. But you can definitely see times where the car is like fighting itself. I know other testers have kind of used that language to describe the behavior, but you'll see kind of jerkiness on the wheel, as if it's fighting with itself on, do I listen to the map data, or do I listen to what the vision system is saying? So I expect that behavior to kind of go away as they get better and better about preferring what they see through the vision over what the map data says, because a lot of times the map data is wrong. All right, great job with that left turn there. We did stay in the proper lane, which is something I've seen be a problem in the past. Great job passing that parked truck right there while I was switching the navigation. It's exactly what we want to see. Alright, so we have a flashing yellow to make this left turn here. Nobody is behind us, so I'm just going to let the car kind of do its thing here until somebody comes up behind me. We are proceeding, which is great. We're having a tough time here. There was a car behind it, and did a really good job there. If somebody was behind us, I would say we hesitated a bit too long, but, overall, that's kind of exactly the behavior we want to see. I don't think I've gotten FSD to do a left turn with a flashing yellow before, at least in Minnesota, so it seems to really struggle with detecting, those lights and reacting accordingly. So I'm sure as they maybe up the frame rate of the vision system, again, those sort of things will go away. This is going to be our very first of 3 attempts to do an unprotected left turn here with a median in the middle. So again, I'm going to do this 3 times just to kind of have a good sample size of kind of where things are at with 69.2.2. But in my opinion, the preferred behavior is definitely to, get across these 2 lanes of traffic here from our left. All right, so great job there. We were blocked on the left with some bushes there. The car positioned itself ahead so it could see around them. A little bit of hesitation on the wheel, as you saw. We're clear on our left, and we have been for some time. We have some cars to our right, so we're just inching forward. And honestly, pretty good. So, confidence-wise in the wheel movements definitely do not instill confidence for me, the driver. But, overall, the behavior was there. The car went to the median as it did. It safely proceeded when it was safe to do so. Did everything that I would say high level that I would do. Obviously, smoothness and some of those things there's definitely more polish to be done. We did wait a little too long to get to that median there, as there was no traffic to our left. So the confidence still with the pillar cameras is still kind of not there where we need it to be human-like, right? But we're on the right path. So let's do another 2 attempts of that same unprotected left turn and then kind of go from there. All right, so this is attempt number 2 of 3 with our unprotected left turn test here. We got traffic to our left here, it looks like, so we're just kind of waiting here. Again, we've nudged out a little bit past the curb, but we have parked cars, so we're well within the boundaries there. So this blue line here is fairly accurate on where it needs to go. Once we have space on the left, though, I definitely want to see it go to the median first. So we are clear on our left. Let's see if it actually proceeds here. If we wait too long, it's going to... Yeah, we've waited too long now. So it's having a tough time, I think, picking up on the moving traffic. They are kind of coming out of the shadows to our left here. All right, so it is clear to do so. Let's see now. On the right, we do have cars. So let's see where we're at. Got a fast Porsche coming up here on our right. Great job there with that. I mean, honestly, except for, again, the hesitation at the beginning where I think it's having trouble seeing cars come out of the shadows, it is handling the fast traffic to our right behind us. So that was really, really good. So we've passed that 2 out of the 3 times. Let's loop around and do it once more and then go from there. So again, you can still see the car has really a lot of difficulty when we're coming head on with another car and we're making a left turn like that, and that was an unprotected left turn. The car really struggles. The wheel movements get jerky, and it kind of just slam on the brakes to try to figure out what that's doing. So the detection of oncoming traffic, I have an unprotected left turn by my house in Minneapolis that it still is a really big pain point for FSD Beta, and you can see that. I think really in part it's due to the confidence detecting what oncoming traffic is doing. Obviously we saw a turn signal, so we knew he's turning and anticipating a turn, right? So we know we're not going to come into head-on collision with the guy, but FSD, I'm sure, still doesn't see the turn signal and some of those things, so it doesn't really know what's going on. But anyways, that's this one area again where FSD Beta definitely still needs some work there. So anyways, I'm going to speed it up here. We're going to get to this stop sign here and then make our 3rd attempt at this unprotected left turn. We do have a pedestrian and a dog here to our right, so we'll see if they try to cross in front of our path, and we'll definitely need to wait for them. But So we're inching out here. Again, great job. And we're clear on the right, so we just proceeded confidently. That was awesome. So really the behavior with these medians is still pretty darn good in terms of reliability. Obviously a lot of polishing still needs to be done, but overall we're off to a good start here with this build so far. So you can see there some really bizarre behavior with the lane selection there. I'm going to report that. Great job with that left turn there. Obviously pretty straightforward, but we did not have a lead car this time. So, you know, the car was very smooth, great line selection. We didn't have any lane selection issues. We stayed in the proper lane throughout that left turn. We made the lane change after it was complete. Very, very smooth. So good stuff so far here. And then right there, again, we know the light's red. I don't like how it stops so late. We should just be regenning all the way to the stop line. So again, some polishing definitely needs to be there, but you know, again, overall, this build is doing the right things. We are still hesitating a little bit too much with those unprotected left turns across the median. With traffic from our left there, we can see them, but it definitely still doesn't have the confidence to proceed when it's clear as much as it should, like when you're comparing it to a human being, for example. So. All right, we have a flashing yellow here, and we are confidently proceeding as if it was green. That was really, really good. So we don't have very many of those in Minnesota. A little bit of a weird lane selection there. The car kind of wanted to stop, so I'm going to report that. But in Minnesota, we don't really have a lot of flashing yellows. Maybe in the suburbs, but not so much in Minneapolis. It's usually just a solid green. But very similar kind of light where you got to yield for oncoming traffic, right, and proceed when it's safe to do so. Car's doing very, very well detecting those flashing yellows and proceeding. So potential improvement. Again, I don't drive these roads very often since I come here like once a year for family. But yeah, it's really good to see so far. FSD Beta doing a good job handling those. Great job at that four-way stop there. The car, actually it was a two-way stop, I apologize. Car did a great job there proceeding and not hesitating too much as we've seen in some of the other builds. So we kind of cut across two lanes there. I was kind of interested to see why we took that path. That was not a good path. We had nobody behind us, so I kind of let it do its thing there. But the correct way to go would have been to stay in the middle of the center line and the curb, as we're going to be going straight through this intersection here. So we're almost to our kind of final destination here. And then yeah, I'll kind of just collect my thoughts here on the behavior, and that will be that. So. All right, so in closing, you know, really good stuff on this drive. I think there's definitely some very positive behavior. I think first and foremost, FSD Beta 10.69.2.2 did a great job with those 3 unprotected left turns with the median involved, and passed each of those 3 tests, you know, flawlessly, right? I mean, obviously, I'm looking at it. Do I have to engage or not? That's the pass-fail criteria, right? Obviously, there's some smoothness and whatnot, some additional confidence that needs to be baked into the software to make it truly human-like. But again, we're on the right path. We were 3 for 3 there. And it's a busy intersection. And that was on El Dorado and Santa Anita Avenue is kind of where I was making the left turns there. So if you guys want to try it and you're local to the area, obviously feel free to do so. But that was really promising. It never made me feel super unsafe as the driver, so that was great. We had another pair of unprotected left turns with the flashing yellow turn signal. That had been a problem for me in the past. We don't have very many of those around the Minneapolis area, but I know FSD would almost treat it as if it was like a solid red light. and just not proceed and require, you know, throttle input, those definitely were not an issue today. So maybe a possible improvement with like flashing yellow detection. Who knows? It wasn't mentioned in the release notes, but we can make our assumptions there, I think, a little bit just based on the behavior. But overall, a really good drive. It definitely felt like a bug fix release from 69.2. So I think this is going to make a lot of folks happy, hopefully happier than 69.2, which to me felt like it was kind of a step backwards from 69.1.1. And a lot of folks that were on the 69.0 release would say the same, right? Where each release has almost hesitated more and more and more. And I feel like we're getting back to that initial behavior with 69.0, which was, you know, aggressive, but in a good way. Obviously, there was a pedestrian detection bug they fixed in .2 that you know, made it a bit more conservative again. But we had a few pedestrian interactions today, and overall they were really good. It's still, you know, I think is definitely playing it safe, which we expect with beta software. We don't want it being super aggressive around pedestrians. You know, obviously I think there's some additional reactions that they can add into the software down the road, where if we can read the body language a little bit and anticipate a bit better, we can more confidently proceed around pedestrians without making it unsafe. So again, further polishing still required, but overall FSD Beta is definitely on the right path. It's been great to see the progress with these 69 builds. Overall, I mean, just compared to .12, it's a big difference, especially on all the routes I have back in the Twin Cities. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.